Hey everyone, welcome to our collective reading. I am Empress Rose, and we're just gonna get started here. I've got some late day sun shining in here today. I'm enjoying it, so I didn't block it out, but I think it's doing some funny things with the lighting. And we've got Moonology. You guys want to go? Okay. All right. 2. Oh, that's interesting. New moon in Aries and new moon in Pisces. 2 new moons, the beginning and the end, which is really interesting because as I was thinking about the time of day I'm doing this, the time of day that I'm here, it's transitional. Where, it's the last little half hour of light here. And that's what I'm seeing here, this bridging from one cycle to another cycle. The 2 moons are telling me that there's a lot unknown. I mean, we come to tarot for making the unknown more known, or more feeling better about what we do know about our future, and the information, for more information. This is saying that at the moment we don't really have a lot of information. There's a big blank area right in front of us, and we're taking actions without any understanding of where they're going, without a real certainty. Last week we were talking about sure-footedness and wanting to take a step and test it. That's a little bit of the energy here, but it is also saying that you really don't know how the next step is going to play out. There are times in our lives where we're like, oh, I'm going to say this and they're going to say that, and then that's how that's going to unfold. There are times in our life where we're like, everything's very predictable, but there's a lot that we don't know about coming into the future. It's time to take action. New moon in Aries. Also, we have like some very masculine, feminine energies here. And for some reason, these horns are looking like fish. There's sort of cycles here going on here. There's some kind, and obviously with the Moonology cards, we do get a cycle, but it's really coming through here that there's some sort of spiral, some sort of circle. These fish circling around each other, these horns circling around, spiraling. So it's really interesting because this is meditate and contemplate, and it's time to take action. So Aries and Pisces, the beginning and the end of the zodiac. And then this make a move now, move quickly, jump on it. Even though you don't know how something's going to turn out, it's time to move forward and get a jump on something. And then we have meditate and contemplate, the exact opposite energy of holding back, being centered. So I think there's some sort of urgency about moving now, or making some sort of doing something, but there's also a sense of it being sure-footed. So a little bit of that same energy, I guess, from last week, like that sure-footedness of it's well thought out. There's not certainty about the unknown, but you've thought about it. And if you haven't thought about this action or this movement that we will hopefully find out more about here, you do need to put some thought and intentionality into it. There's meditate and thinking about it. There's also a sense of moving and then considering. And then from that place, moving again. So there's also like some soulmate energy, some going with the flow here. Your feelings are very important here. And meditate and contemplate talks to me about heart and mind connection, about feeling good about the decisions you're making and the action you're making. So it's time to take action, and this action needs to feel it needs to be grounded and rooted in thoughtfulness and intentionality, and it needs to feel good. You need to feel not necessarily that you love the action, but it needs to have your soul needs to be at peace with this action. So you're taking an action, but I don't see it being an ungrounding action. Like sometimes the fool leaping off that mountain feels like a very ungrounded energy, and we're taking off from someplace, but it does seem very intentional. So an action born out of meditation intention, heart and mind alignment. Maybe this opportunity has come forward for you before and you didn't take it, and now you're coming from a much more stable, capable place and you can take the opportunity. And then, probably one of my favorite cards in this deck, what's it called? The Dreamweaver's Oracle. Colette Baron-Reed, yeah, her latest offering. If the taste is sweet and good, so savoring something, again, this really beautiful energy, because meditate and contemplate has this really beautiful energy as well. The rightness of things, the fitness of things, things fitting together and feeling so right. So if the taste is sweet and good, we're savoring it. We're maybe even collecting it. We're creating a new mental photo album with. But this photo album, instead of some of the bad things we've experienced that we sort of catalog back there as warnings, we have another photo album we can keep of the beautiful moments in our life where things are just gorgeous and just right, and they just feel so right and so good. And so we're taking a little snapshot, and that's what I'm seeing here. We're taking a little snapshot of this so that we can remember something that happens this week in the future. And it could be a conversation, it could be something that's been expressed that's happening, and then we're savoring it now, and then we're also going to savor it later as a memory. And time to feed the hungry heart, taking care of yourself. This is a self-care card. And what does that feel like, and how does that it's about your vibe. It's about taking care of your vibe and making sure that you are taking care of yourself and taking care of your vibe, and so that your vibe that emanates from you, as unique as it is to you, that vibe is healthy and well cared for. So this can be about nurturing yourself with really healthy and delicious food. This can be about reading your favorite book. This can be about going on your favorite walk or favorite hike. Just really taking care of your body, taking care of yourself, and loving yourself, and loving your, just making sure you're giving energy to yourself and making sure you're feeding yourself healthy stuff, good stuff, stuff that you love. So it's feeding the heart, it's feeding the body, it's feeding the mind, making sure that we are nurturing yourself and not neglecting ourselves and not postponing our own health and well-being for someday in the future, but doing that now, today. And it's time to do that. It's time to take action, and it's time to feed the hungry heart. So there could be something that you would really love and you would really enjoy, and you've been postponing it and putting it off for, I don't know, when the time is perfect, when the time is right. And it's almost like saying this really beautiful thing that you want to do, that maybe it's going to be making memories, maybe it's going to be, so it's time to do that now. And take care of yourself and give yourself something that you really truly desire. I don't know what you most desire. I heard that the other day. What is it that you most desire? And that creates like a competition in my mind. And then I get all like, most desire. Which one is the most? I have this one, but maybe I want that one a little more, but some days I do want that, but then there's this. Oh yeah, don't forget about that. So we don't have to have a competition. It's just one of those things that you want to do that just has been calling to you, and it would be really, really enjoyable, and you know it. And then time to dance around the sun, celebration card, completion card, again with this Pisces energy, completing something. You did it. You did it. This is all really beautiful energy. I think it's time to take action. Can make me a little nervous because I tend to be a little bit more of a contemplator, but it's time to move on something that you've been thinking about for a long time that would be really lovely, really wonderful for you, and do it and complete, and then celebrate whatever step you do this week towards that. Celebrate it, not by taking steps backwards. I knew someone who celebrated everything with alcohol. Every wonderful thing that happened, good thing that happened, small thing, good thing that happened, well, we need to have a drink. And then I noticed that they also dealt with every disappointment with alcohol. So we're not doing, that's not how we're celebrating. We're celebrating in a really healthy, beautiful, gorgeous way. I even see some yoga here. I see a dog. I see a pig. I see there's something really lovely here. And there's a completion. This could be a birthday party. This could be some sort of celebration, a retirement party, but it's, I don't know, there's a celebration and maybe there's something that you've done and you've accomplished that needs to be celebrated, or there's something this week that you are being called to accomplish, which is really lovely, really gorgeous energy, and celebrate these wins. All right, let's just do one more shuffle on this puppy. And hopefully I do not mess it up as far as the directions of the cards. All right. From the bottom of the deck, talking about something very inspiring. Ace of Fire. We have our fire sign here too. Something really inspiring, really exciting. There's a passage, there's a journey, there's this can be about creative ideas, sexual ideas, creative ideas, spiritual ideas, all of that sort of like in this, held within the category of fire, in the category of wands in the tarot. So a lot of something that you're very inspired by, or have been at some point very inspired by, and it's taking steps to something that really calls you and really delights you. The way may not be, well, this way is clear. The way is clear. It feels very direct. Just go directly there. You don't need to, there's no middleman, there's no stopping, there's no need for diversion. It's just almost like you have this idea and you go ahead and do it. But I think it's something that you've been thinking about for a while, and this is, and you've been wanting to do this for a while, right? This is all idea, inspiration, fire, and you head towards it. You set out towards that thing that is calling you, that is exciting. There's also a sense of there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Keep going. I think you're getting like a little scooch along from your spirit team. Scooch along, keep going. Go along now. Run along now. Have fun. Have fun out there. That's something that has maybe even been a guiding light for you. It's been something you've been hoping for and looking forward to, and it's been something that's inspired you maybe for a while and kind of kept you going. I think there's a sense of the time is now for that. It's something you've been really looking forward to and really brings you to life and makes you feel connected to the larger universe and the larger whole. So you've been on sort of this inspired journey, or you've been looking at this for a while. Past, present, inner landscape, what's at issue, environment, to-do list, possible outcome. Oh, okay. All right, steady now, careful. We have 2 aces. We have 2 major arcana, so we are touching on longer, bigger storylines. And we have fire, earth, water, and 1 person here. All right, in the recent past, 10 of earth, something has been really successful. It's been going very well. And it also has a completion vibe. You finished a project, you finished something up. Oh my gosh, I love all the ladybugs here. These are little like spirit messengers, like speaking of like spirit guides and stuff like that. These are sort of, ladybugs can come in as ancestors, as communication. And there might be something very special about ladybugs to you. But this is, 10 of earth is something you've already been successful in, or there's already been some completion here. You have completed something, some sort of task. There's a lot to be grateful for in this situation. There's a lot of abundance. This can be family abundance. This can be inheritance. This can be just the work's been done and it's time to just enjoy the work. And you've already had this experience where this project is over, this work is done, time to just really enjoy the fruits of your labors, right? We have a lot of pentacle cards or earth cards where it's like, we're still working hard. We're kind of having to juggle a lot. We're having to do a lot. Or is this ever going to happen? There's all sorts of things, but this is like something that did happen, and it was successful, and it was beautiful, and your needs were met in this situation, and there was success, and it turned out really well, and you were able to share it with other people, friends, family. You really enjoyed it. This situation, and it just had this it felt very special, perhaps. And there was still perhaps work being done. So 10 of Earth is like the completion, but in this card I'm seeing that there was still ongoing work. It wasn't that it was like, and all the work is done. Maybe for something or in some project all the work was done, but there was still sort of some busyness about. I mean, even when we plan a party and we have a party and we host a party, even when we're at the party enjoying the fruits of our labors, we're still needing to, make sure the trash is functional for people to throw things away, and making sure, there's still things that need to be done, even when we are celebrating the completion of something. So that's almost what it looks like. It's, for whatever metaphor that fits for you, it's just like a completion. But yeah, stuff still was getting done, and there's still work to do. Like, even if it's our last performance of the play, we still have work to do. That, you got to put things away, and the costumes all have to be, cleaned up and stored, and the set has to be taken down. There's still stuff to do, even when we complete something. So, and here we have the Hierophant. I want to say legal issues, but that's the first, that's some sort of something there, legal, but dealing with something, it's long term, there's guidance, there's leadership. Maybe the leadership's kind of in the background here. There's commitments involved. Commitments, formulas that need to be followed, rubrics. It is reminding me of you get an assignment and it has to be this many pages, and because they figured out that some of us play with fonts when we do pages and margins, and all that now has to be specified. Your font size, your margins, how many sources you used. There's rules that need to be followed here. There's growth. And there's thinking about the growth within sort of this old, ancient way of doing things. This historic way of doing things. We do it this way because it's always been done this way. Now, sometimes that's really annoying, and we don't need to do that way anymore because we have other things right now. And if circumstances should go back to that way, then we can go do it that way. Hierophant also talks about marriage. It talks about commitment. It talks about rules. I want to say too, there's the light coming in here at an angle. I want to say maybe golden hour. It's, this could be a company. This could be a business, leadership, boss. Rules, regulations, formulas that need to be followed. And that's prominent right here. It could be represented by one person. The Hierophant is referring to sort of the priest, the boss, the person in charge of everything. So that could be at some sort of issue here, or just there's a presence here, and for good, for bad, whatever, there's a presence here of rules and regulations and formulas and how we've done things, and things that need to be followed. Now, that could be represented by a person, or that could be just the general vibe that you're in right now. It could be right now you're working for a company that has sort of rules and things that they, amounts of hours they can give you or not give you, amounts of time frames they can give you or not give you, or things that to-do lists that you need to accomplish, that kind of thing. So it could just be representing the presence there, and somehow that's part of the story, including this Ace of Fire, where you're inspired by something that seems like it's at the end of a long, dark hallway and has quite a journey to get to. Presently, there's a Hierophant here. It could be a teacher. Could be a teacher coming to the fore. Could be some sort of guide along a path. It could be rules and regulations, or it could be someone able to guide you to your next steps. Some sort of organization, perhaps, with deep roots, a lot of longevity. And there could be someone who's part of your life right now that's guiding you through that, or guiding you towards that, or creating some sort of leadership. The leadership here is very subtle. It's not really in your face. Your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape, 7 of Fire. The fears, the hope of making room and time for these things that light you up. Maybe despite this job, or maybe hoping that this job or whatever this Hierophant represents is something that's going to light you up, going to be exciting. And this can also be like creating boundaries. The 7 of Wands is about boundaries. It's about creating room for yourself. It's about not letting people erode your sense of self, erode your position. And the Hierophant too could be marriage, could be commitments like that, societal commitments. But the 7 of, so I'm juxtaposing that with, like, there could be commitments here and you're wanting to make space for something else. You're wanting to make space for your individuality. So you may be looking at a marriage, you may be married right now, and looking at, like, how do I maintain my individuality in this, like, structure? You could be, you know, looking at your work and being like, well, how do I make time for my hobbies and the things that really light me up and bring me on and light my soul on fire in a good way? That how do I get away from, how do I not let this Hierophant take that away from me? Or a teacher could be presenting themselves. I can also see this with this. A teacher may be presenting themselves, a guide may be presenting themselves to you, and you're wondering, how do I make time for this? If I want to do this, I'm going to have to make time for it. And I'm worried and concerned, or working on how I create boundaries where this is something that's actually feasible, it can actually happen. So you're working internally, you're working on boundaries, setting up time and space for doing the things that you want to do, that you love to do. And then the sun is kind of down, and I'm not sure I like my lighting right now. Hold on. All right, I'm not sure that that's better, but there we go. So you're looking to make room for yourself, to make time for something, perhaps for the class, perhaps for this teacher, or perhaps in spite of a teacher, in spite of a structure. But that's where you're at. So what's the issue here is Ace of Water. So someone could be feeling depressed. Someone could be not feeling inspired. Here we have this thing that's been very inspiring and been very exciting for you to look at. But this Ace of Water has, I want to say, some sadness, some depression. This isn't quite what you thought it was. A relationship isn't going well. You might be disappointed in a relationship. If you're married, you could be sort of feeling a disconnect, feeling disappointed, feeling wounded, that there's not peace here, feeling wounded by something. There's a sense of somebody here that isn't happy with the way things are, or the way things are going. And Ace of Water, whenever we have the cups and they're upside down, there's always a sense of depletion, depression, exhaustion. That would definitely have me in a 7 of Fire of, like, hey, I'm really tired. I need, like, space for myself. I need space to, like, rest. I need space to recover. I'm feeling very depleted and I need that space. So Hierophant also has Taurus energy. I'm just thinking of that and, like, the need for space. It could be a Taurus in your life that feels a little, it could be a Taurus in your life that's not feeling very good, that's feeling depressed. But there's a sense of depletion here. There's a sense of depression here. There's not renewal. There's not peace. There's not healing. There's not a sense of healing hasn't come in an area. And so it feels, someone's not at peace here. And maybe something feels like old and worn out, and maybe a person here feels old and worn out. Maybe a situation feels old and worn out. But there's a lack of peace and a lack of healing that's here. In the environment, we have temperance. There's a lot of wait and see energy. And this can be hurry up and wait energy. Where it's interesting because where Ace of Water, something feels barren, dry, desertified. Temperance is too much of something happening, but the environment is sort of slowing the roll here. The environment is sort of slowing things down and making, you know how when you're pouring water on soil, you can use just a straight hose and you can absolutely create some erosion, destroy the soil structure. You can take the same amount of water and put it in a sprinkling can and have it sprinkled down, and in that way nourish the earth and nourish things rather than shock and awe, and not awe in a good way, but rather than shock the earth and wound the earth. There's a sense of something coming in very gently and very softly in a very nurturing way. So your environment though, and that could be part of why something's needing to wait or be paced out. Temperance is wait and see, but it's also tempered energy. It's a very gentle energy here. There's not a really intense sense of, I want to say, brutal direction or forcing something. Nothing's being forced here. There's a gentle renewal, especially with this Temperance card, you know, and it's always really interesting when I'm selecting the deck. There's one that usually is pretty obvious to me, and it's just right there. It's just the only deck I can see. So that's what happened with this deck. So there wasn't any question about using this deck. I didn't even look at the other decks. So there's something about this interpretation of temperance, of this gentling energy in your environment. Something's being gentled, something that's come on maybe too strong, been a little too harsh, been a little too direct. Perhaps like direct communication is really great, but there is a sense when it can be way too direct. So it's sort of being like, tone it down, tone it down. Maybe your manager's been a little overly strong. Maybe they've been micromanaging you. Maybe there's some energy, perhaps even their boss is like, you need to gentle this up, or you need to, you know, be a little gentler about delivering this news or whatever. I'm not saying there's bad news here. In fact, everything is so beautiful. The only like sort of negative presence is this sense that someone might take this away from you. And that's internal, that you're feeling that something, you're being defensive perhaps. There could be a sense in which you're defensive here with the cards out here. You could be feeling very defensive and the need to defend. That might just be you, because everything else here looks really beautiful. And your environment has so much gentleness in it. It's like there's this sense around you of like, let's not overwhelm you. Nothing wants to overwhelm you, but something may be taking its time. Temperance is a lot of patience, right? Because we can come in there with our fire hose on the soil and deliver 5 gallons of water like that. But when we have this temperance energy here, we're sprinkling, and it may take about half an hour to deliver 5 gallons. If I'm remembering my sprinkling can, it may take half an hour to deliver the same amount that you could deliver. So there's just this sense of gentle energy, but because it's gentle, it's taking more time. So something's taking its time, but that doesn't mean it's not coming, and there could be things that need to be worked out. It could just be the timing will be better in the future. Temperance also has like a sense of divine timing. And we have timing mentioned several times: time to feed the hungry heart, time to take action. And temperance has a lot of timing to it. And something may take longer time and require more patience, but that's because it's coming in a much nicer way than if you were like, hurry up. And then it was like, okay, fine, I'll hurry. And then dumped it all on you in a minute. We could have some harshness, some erosion, some that kind of thing. So there's a very gentle energy here in your environment. Something's happening very slowly and gently. And then what's really interesting here is your to-do list is 2 of water. And look at this, it's the same card as this, meditate and contemplate, the Pisces energy, the fish, the water energy, and the 2 in the water. So these can be any 2 people. Oftentimes we associate with romantic love, and with the Pisces, new moon in Pisces, there's that as well. So it's connecting with someone on and what's interesting too is we had that last week with 6 of Cups, connecting with some sort of really beautiful energy from your past. And that's what's really interesting too, is we have a second week of this really beautiful, gorgeous energy. And I think patience is playing a huge role in this. Divine timing is playing a huge role. 2 of water is deep emotional connection with someone. That's 2, it's just, it can be a relationship. We have 2 mermaids here, deeply connecting on multiple different levels. So deeply connecting with somebody else. And this could be anybody. I mean, not just a romantic relationship. And I don't mean just, but we tend to isolate that card to romantic relationships in tarot land. But this could be a lot of different people, but there's a nice, really nice, deep connection with someone. It could be just a conversation, not just a conversation, but it could be a conversation, not a whole lifetime together. It could be a discussion about something. It's very beautiful. It's very memorable. And there's a very deep connection with someone. Coming under this Hierophant card, that could be a Taurus you're deeply connecting with. That could be some sort of leader you're deeply connecting with. That could be some sort of, it's just so interesting. There's this patience, there's this organization, and your job is to deeply connect with someone, with many people, with individuals, with an individual. And maybe multiple individuals, but one at a time. But you're connecting with an individual here in a very emotional way. There's a deep emotional connection. So you're making that connection. And it's interesting because we have 5. It should be really beautiful, really good for you, and should represent a milestone. It might represent a milestone, or there might be something to really take away from this. And then where we're headed, possible outcome, Queen of Fire. This is going to have you, either you're going to be meeting with or connecting with someone who is highly intuitive, and that's interesting too because this is also a very highly intuitive card. Queen of Fire also matching up very much with this Aries energy, fire energy here. So the Queen of Fire, wow, there's like a depth to this person's intuition. Queen of Fire typically is someone who is very connected to their own intuition, very male or female, someone who's deeply connected to their own intuition. They are not very concerned about what's going on out there. They're not very concerned about if you're following them. This person doesn't go around trying to collect followers or get people on board. It's a very introverted sense of their own intuition. And so this is the person you're either connecting with, or your connection with them is going to help you embody that. The Queen of Fire is an artist, is a spiritual guide, is an artist. It can be this teacher, this Hierophant. It can be the same person, but it's very. They're not didactic, and they're not trying to get people. They're not trying to use people. It's a very grounded energy. This person is an artist in their own right. They might be a very successful artist as far as completing their own projects and being able to be in touch with their own self. Sometimes this can make an incredible teacher, not someone who's better at interacting one-on-one with people than someone who's great at getting everybody to follow them and like their stuff and being a really overt leader. This leader can be more of a one-on-one leader, and maybe they haven't had the desire or skills or whatever to go out and sell their work and make their name big, but they have the skill sets and they want to teach that. So this connection could lead to, with the Hierophant here and the Queen of Fire here, some sort of teacher, but it's very one-on-one. There's a very personal connection with somebody here. You could be the teacher. You could end up teaching something with this Queen of Fire. You could be this heart-to-heart connection. This you could end up being the teacher. But there's this just self-possession in this Queen of Fire that is not concerned overtly about what everybody thinks and how they're coming across and how they present in the world and their worldly success. They're very interested in their own personal success, their spiritual success, their a spiritual path, their artistic journey, and much more interested in their artistic journey. So this could be you, but there's something about some really beautiful conversation and connection with someone that either elevates you to a position of, self-possessed artist in whatever field, whether that's spiritual, even sexual, I don't know, but a self-possessed artist. I don't know what that would look like in that realm, but that's for your imagination. Later. I'm not going to do that for you now. But Queen of Fire, the self-possessed, energetic person that really, yeah, I think I beat that horse, that dead horse or something, whatever that is. Yeah, but there's a beautiful conversation here, and it could be with someone who is already a Queen of Fire, or it could be a very inspiring person. Or you could be sort of entering into that realm as well. All right, so we have these cards. I'm just going to take 2 off the top. Wow, okay, well, we've got earth energy in here all of a sudden, which we had a little bit at the beginning, but some really heavy earth energy. Look at these. These are birds of a feather, only they're like beasts of a fur. Cow spirit, the miracles are endless. So this is such a gorgeous reading, especially with this 2 of Fire, this deep emotional connection and the resulting Queen of Fire from this. But the miracles are endless. So things that you don't expect, things, balls you got rolling that you did not know they were going to go in that direction, things that you didn't expect to happen, things other people are bringing to you, right? We do work and we do our own work and we practice our craft and we do all of that, but there are a lot of unexpected things that come in and they feel like miracles. They are miracles when the universe does something, or when something comes in that is not expected and it feels like, wow, I worked my ass off, got peanuts, and suddenly I've got, a whole dump truck full of walnuts or hazelnuts, really. So it's like you were working for peanuts, meanwhile the universe is delivering you a dump truck full of hazelnuts. So cow spirit, the miracles are endless. Speaking of that, my cat's automatic feeder is dishing out his food right now. So I think that's telling of this dump truck of filberts coming in and depositing it, much like this machine. All right, so that was number 15, and then we have number 10 here. I want to look at the numbers, 37, 25, 38. And then we have 10, Buffalo Spirit, the abundant universe will providing right here automatically. This feels like a miracle. The cat doesn't have to swat at me or bite me or get me to feed it or remember it. It's just this automatic thing. So that's what it feels like. The abundant universe will provide and miracles are endless. This is such a beautiful, gorgeous reading. And at the center of it, there is a really beautiful, heartfelt, deep emotional connection with someone. And just this earth energy here with the buffalo and the cow. And the Taurus energy is kind of off the charts here with these two. Well, even both of these cows have horns, and we have the horns prominently featured. So we could be talking Aries, Capricorn, Taurus, like, and anything else too. But the Taurus energy is pretty intense here. There's a determination, there's abundance. I mean, the cow with the milk, the buffalo feeding an entire continent, feeding and clothing an entire continent for thousands of years from time immemorial. Like, the abundant universe will provide and the miracles are endless. So really, really gorgeous reading. Absolutely gorgeous reading. Oh, well, I usually draw these since the cards are... So we're going to draw a little feather here. What do you think? Which one do you think? I think this one. Hawk. Pay attention. A powerful message is being communicated to you now. And I'm not too proud to say that this could be the powerful message, but also check your email, check your mail, check your messages. A powerful message is being communicated to you. So make sure you're checking your email, make sure you're checking your spam folder, and make sure being on the alert for important messages coming to you right now at this time. So, all right, I hope that that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for coming to me for this gorgeous reading. May all of our weeks be this beautiful, and may you just really let this defensiveness down in a way so that you can receive this and make space for these beautiful things coming in this week. Make space for them. All right. Bye.